Hello and welcome. Today's date that comes in that of the 16th day of July 2020. It's a Thursday. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and of the like that is within each's own risk and their own reward. And this will be based on cryptocurrencies. First looking at Bitcoin. I'll cross over to Tezos after that. And well, pretty much that's all I have planned right now. Alright, so as it starts within this video, I'm showing a lot of periods here on the daily term time frame going back to the end of 2016, which, when we look at trend analysis, the most certain, obvious uptrend that contained several higher highs, and I'm just going to show the higher lows now. Of course, the highs should be obvious as well. Yeah, I guess you can count this, but there really wasn't any on this way up here, but this was the high. From that point on, a descending triangle or a little bit of a downtrend, but then we had this little bit of not much going on. And even in here, the volatility was relatively small, but it was very small in here. And then a small kerplunk move. Overall, small kerplunk move, but big, because it was talked about pretty big. This movement in here, upward ascending triangle here, and then uptrend. Higher low, higher high, and the higher high. It ranges at this. A little bit of a failed breakdown, but in such, it resisted where it came from, thus establishing a new low. Retest a previous high. Nice big kerplunk move, I guess we'll call again. Thus, so far, a higher low to this, a lower low to this, and yet a second or another matching high, third test of key level, has not had a test of what would be the inverted head and shoulders pattern. It still could, but it hasn't as of yet, which means all it's doing is just this little bit of small stuff in here, which I guess, all I can compare it to is this. Where we go from here, well, it's either going to be up or down, but most likely it's going to be a very noticeable move when it actually does happen. Let me show less periods, as I like to normally show it. And within it, we can see just that big sideways range, big support here. I can stick a little horizontal ray line in. This has been an area of interesting support. So far in today's session, it hasn't arrived at. All it's really done is pierce through the support that it had on July the 14th and retest the support that it had on July 10th. In doing such, doing it on the 18 average of lows. For those are the tests of such, as it left that area on July the 5th. And it rose to the 18 average of highs on the 6th. Spending really the entire run up until leaving it on the 13th at the highs. In doing such, with the exception of the 10th of July, it supported not shown near the 18 average of closes. And in the session both yesterday and the day before, the intraday highs were below the 18 average of such. And then today's session having a move, but just basically back down to the lows, and it's really just a whole bunch of doing the same old deal, really not doing much at all, and it will be not doing much at all until it does, and there's still no signs that it's going to be doing anything much at all. Yeah, it might break down below this thing, but even then I'm going to be looking at support between, way low volatility is 86.57 might be a very a much more probable level than the big other one would be here at 8,100, at least for a significant next key move. If it goes here and then it goes there next, well, that still counts as going here. But and then the next key level below that is here, and then the but situation is, of course, that's just what I feel is the most probable, and the markets are going to do what they're going to do. Do. So in the single hour term time frame, this is the major support that I had. We can see a few hits here at the main area at 91.86, which it consolidated, stayed there throughout the night last night. And then this area tested at 91.52, and I would rather do this using a tether market for the short term. The T and the Y are beside each other, so there we have it here. So then let's take a look at that short-term support on here. Well, yes, you have it. It's only a 2-hit level for the most part right here. You have this support. This coincides up here. So, yeah, I have to put the line right there. Also of note, don't know, it's been a long time, it's been a year since I haven't had a non-package because my package has run out on TradingView. I have not noticed an ad pop up. I noticed that if I put an alert here, I probably won't have it added because, yeah, I got this now come up because I got one alert available. It's on Tezos right now. But the question is, which package do I want to go for? I haven't found any deals for myself yet, and I'm actually one of those spots where I'm like, okay, you've done it before. I'm going to wait to see. Unfortunately, Thanksgiving's a long time away, so just if I need to get a package, I will. But if the ads don't come up, I really don't need it. So with that being said, let's continue on with the short-term analysis here. As the market fell down at 2 o'clock, 2:45 in the morning, New York time. And it congested, but it didn't support too well. Let's just even see on the 1 minute how much support there was at that line. Probably hardly just nothing. Yeah, just at 3:14 in the morning, it really didn't do much of a support at all. I mean, it did pierce below it and supported in general terms for the entire run. But then we can see as it lost momentum, it resisted it at 4:53. And has now stayed and held below that level ever since, after making several lower lows to about 6 o'clock in the morning. It made a few higher highs in here, but since then, short term, on very, very, very short term analysis, don't know why I'm covering this other than just for yada yada stuff. It's in this, of course, but major range, which means that if it does break above it, given how close it is to this, you'd probably think that it's going to go up to like another, we could get up to like, test some of this empty space in here. But given we've already resisted, we could have another major more resistance test as well too, probably piercing above it. So you'd have to be a little bit cognizant on any resistance test with the move that has come into play. And overall, again, it's doing this on short term or on low volatility, low moves, if you will. So if it does start to show weakness down below here, short term test at like 9,050. Which would then tell me here that all of these little bit of lower areas, like the 88-ish area or so area, would be a very decent likelihood for a test. Okay, enough about Bitcoin. Let's move on to Tezos. And overall, the general market, everything you can see is in the reds, at least for the ones that I'm trading. Tezos is having an interesting battle within these key Fibonacci's, and there's my alert level right there. If it was going to have a break, this is what I put in yesterday. And this thing has been having a very, very good move so far over the last several days from these lows. At the start of the month, or about a week and a half ago, when it was at 2,500 Satoshi, now near the 35 number at 33.45. Having a retest of Fibonacci level, hit here, hit here, hit here. And that's after it had its run from this low, this high, this low, this high. So from the move from point open to this point high, it has corrected it within really this sideways trend. Yeah, you had all these higher lows that kind of got violated here, but not really. It's been because now of a matching level. We got 3 hits below the 32.46 level in the area of about 2,500, between 2,600, we'll say, to 2,400. And now this is, again, the third hit of this upper resistance area. So it's got to break this resistance range to one side or another. It's going to be a significant break most likely when it does. Breaking above 3,800, 4,200 area would be that of probably 5 figures, 10,000 plus Satoshi, 12, 13, 15,000 would be areas I'd be thinking would be likely potential targets. And then breaking down by this low, the support should easily pierce through this. And I'm surprised, and it's unfortunate, there's been many markets like Theta included, where these Fibonacci levels didn't really cooperate as well with me, as I wasn't able to get many buybacks as I would have liked. However, I didn't sell as much last night, but I still did within the session. As we take a look at this on the hourly term time frame, market came up to this key Fibonacci level on the 13th of July with a very good pullback, retesting it with a lower high, higher low, so pattern of lower highs and higher lows. But that got violated with this high to a retest of that level, successful correction to where it came from above the Fibonacci level, and as I expected, a key move to this point. So when I seen it breaking up, I was ready to sell, and I did. at the 35 below change level. I sell Teslas against 4 different things, so I sold it against 2 of the 4, leaving 2 of them open, hence why I had this Fibonacci line I was going to sell on a breakout above there. Didn't happen, but it did now have this move coming back to where this whole thing came from. And moving forward, this I think is going to be a very good gains in the future. Hence why this is one of my better positioned coins, as that would be the case with Theta as well too. And within such, we can take a look at this, just how big these key levels are. Here we have this coming up to Fibonacci 3070, and these aren't the exact numbers, but they're pretty darn near close, and it's an exact hit as far as I'm concerned with this level. On the 12th of July, it just rejected it massively the next day, and it's reacted to just accepting the rejection thus far. But at the same time, what the market has done from the last key high at the end of May was have its correctionary move, of course, piercing above this Fibonacci, not to it or below it, whatever. With that, and then it neutralizes the situation. So here's your attempt, and as I stated, the whole 3,000, that's something you got to be very careful with. This is something that could definitely be resistance, and it's showing signs where it might be here. Keyword is might be still. So now we have the 18 newly rising, so all the reversal of trend. Stage 1, band flattening out, so a negative, any type of negative 18 average is turned sideways. There we go. Then you attempt to get above it with a significant break. That happens. Then you come back within the 18. That has happened, and you should be doing so, and it is within the 18 rising average. But this 18 rising average is kind of flattening out as well, because now we're day 4 within it, and it hasn't been any upward momentum getting this thing into an up move. And therefore, if you start to continue to see weakness below this, especially if it holds and stays below 2,500 and it supports 24 for a decent amount of time, that would be giving me a lot of signals that it should finally have this pierce below and probably come down to about 1,600 or so as an area for its next level. But that's, of course, if it fails this move. If we see it get above it, then we're in retracement mode, and there's 2 different Fibonacci levels I can go with. The one that's shown in here, which means I'd be looking at resistance at around the 4,000 level. As well, you can connect the high from 64, I think it is. Yes, 6,400. And the low right now on the Theta on Satoshi is a 2197 or 2,200 even would work as well. High divided by low, 64 divided by 22 to the root of 0.382 or 0.618. As well as all the other ones like 23.6 and 76.4. And then when you multiply the root, the low of 2,200. Same thing when you look at it with the dollar. Whatever the dollar high was at the end of May and the low, you can do the same sort of deal. That could be Fibonacci levels as well. And then you got the Fibonacci from this low to this high, which is pretty much this, which is what I got actually. So that is what I have. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, because there really isn't much more else to say. And I'll do a gold and silver video. I'm going to do that in a different one, though, and I'm doing that one pretty much next. So if you're watching this as it comes out, then that one will be soon. And, of course, well, most of you would have noticed that both of them were viewed at around the same time. Take care.